MADNEWS, daily MADNEWS, MADNEWS, daily MADNEWS. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Daily MADNEWS. This is the channel where we put madness and satire into the real news that's affecting us every day. News that it will actually change our lives that we don't know about, but is happening behind our back. So this is my first episode. Daily MADNEWS. The UK government, they've declared war on the sun. They want to dim the sun. They said enough. I mean, a UK country where we have an average of 3.8 hours of sunlight a day wants to dim the sun. They want to dim it for the whole world. They want to dim it for the whole world. They want to put the sunshade there. They said because of global warming, they want, do you know what? Let you listen to this. Let's go. Let's listen to what they say.
Geoengineering sounds like science fiction, but this is real. It's funded and it is starting in Britain.
In an age of climate panic and extreme weather, the UK is preparing to tinker with the most powerful force in our solar system, the sun itself. Take a look.
The climate clock is ticking. Wildfires rage. Sea levels rise. And heat waves are becoming relentless. As the carbon emissions keep climbing, treaties are stalling, while fossil fuel interests remain stubbornly entrenched. With the world on the brink, some scientists and policymakers are considering an unsettling solution. What if we could cool the earth without cutting emissions? The UK government is preparing to fund up to 66 million in research aimed at dimming the sun. Yes, dimming our sun to reduce global temperatures. The science involves reflecting a portion of sunlight back into space.
Wow.
Mimicking the cooling effects of volcanic eruptions. The approach, known as solar radiation management, could offer a temporary climate reprieve, but it also opens the door to immense uncertainty.
Wait.
It may sound cool, but it has many pitfalls. This strategy could theoretically offset global warming. It's a plan B, a planetary sunshade. But critics warn it's also a Pandora's box. Shift too much sunlight and you could derail monsoons, disrupt agriculture, or spark new geopolitical flashpoints. And who decides how much sun the world gets? Which countries win, which lose? Bureau Report Beyond World is One.
Hold on a second. As a melanated black man, do you know the way I see this as here? I see this as a climate gentrification. We all know we black people, we need the sun. We've got melanin in our skin. This melanin is double-edged sword. It needs the sun to activate. When there's lack of sun in our body, we become vitamin D deficient. Do you know what? Hold on a second. Let's go and research. What percentage of the UK? Okay, wait, let's do it like this. Yeah. Okay, I think I've searched it before. What percentage of black people? So, according to Google, yeah, I have even gone deeper. Yeah. What percentage of black people, yeah, in the UK are vitamin D deficient? In the UK, black people are the high prevalence of vitamin D deficient compared to general population. Studies indicate that a significant proportion of around 34.9% to 41% of black people, black residents, are vitamin D deficient. So basically, 34 to 41%. So 4 out of every 10 black people is already vitamin D deficient. They're not getting enough sun. So that's 40%. 40% of black people already are already deficient. So when you dim the sun, you're killing us. Basically, that's what you're about to do. You're about to kill black people. You are about to kill black people. Hold on a second. Let's see something. How many days? Okay, wait. Of sunlight are there in the UK? See? In the UK, in 2024, the UK have a average of 3.8 hours. 3.8 hours. That is, let's just say approximately 4 hours. 4 hours of sunlight in a day. 4 hours in the 24 hours. We have 4 hours of sunlight. And you want to dim the sunlight. You want to dim the sunlight on black people in the UK. You want to dim our shine. Why? Why? You're trying to wipe us out. I think personally, it's time for black people to get the hell out of UK. They're doing around the world. We need to stand up for this. Yeah? 60 million. 60 million to spray aerosols into the atmosphere. You want to divert the energy of the sun back into the sun. Hold on. Let me see what other people are saying over this before I make my conclusion. 4 days ago, let me see what GB News are saying. GB News.
Hey guys, I just found an amazing digital.
Let me see what they're saying, because this is ridiculous. I think something needs to be done right now, because if something is not done right now, we are not going to change what's going on with it. This needs to be changed.
He wondered if his
Good evening to you. Thank you for your company. I hope you enjoyed the glorious sunshine we had today, and indeed are excited for the so-called heat wave next week. I know I am, because sunshine is a beautiful thing, isn't it? I call it the closest physical manifestation we have to God, whatever or whoever God is. It's literally life force, God energy, that allows flowers to flourish and powerful trees to grow.
There you go.
It allows us to grow food. It heals and nourishes our bodies, and
there you go.
Makes pub beer gardens that much sweeter too.
You're right.
So ask yourself then, why would anyone ever want to block out the sun deliberately? What kind of person would want to do that kind of thing? Well, if you ever needed proof that we're led by dangerous, incompetent weirdos, that's what they're planning to do now, here in the UK.
I think this is actually more spiritual. The reason why they're trying to block the sun is, one, these dark entities are scared of the energy of the sun. The magnetic forces of the earth, the vibration is coming up now. These people are scared of this. They're scared of this. They're trying to blacken the sun.
Government-funded geoengineering experiment to literally test dimming the sun in the name of solving climate change. The government's Advanced Research and Invention Agency, or ARIA, aims to block sunlight reaching the Earth's surface with projects that include spraying aerosols in the atmosphere to make clouds brighter, which will then reflect sunshine. What could go wrong? If successful, ARIA thinks the plan can temporarily reduce surface temperatures, which will then give humans more time to reduce carbon emissions before climate change sends us all to hell.
You are sending us all to hell. So, put it this way. The sun is shining bright. Yeah, the energy of the sun is unmatched. It comes into the earth absorbs it. We absorb the energy, so solar panels, daylight, trees, plants, animals, rivers, everything, we absorb this energy. So what you people are trying to do is block this energy and send it back to the sun, so the sun fights itself by its reflection. You're crazy.
Aerosols would be sprayed into the atmosphere using boats or aeroplanes, which is interestingly a similar process to the one parroted by so-called conspiracy theorists who have been complaining for years about what they call chemtrails.
How is it conspiracy theories when you're actually proving everyone right by doing what they're saying is a theory. You're basically putting into theory the practical aspect of the conspiracy. So it's no longer a conspiracy, it's actually a crime. You're doing it. You're not
in our
conspiring
skies,
anymore. You're
like
doing
these on
it.
your screen now. Oh, those pesky conspiracy theorists again. Anyway, leading scientists are now raising the alarm on British plans to block the sun. Raymond Pierre Humbert, a professor of planetary physics at the University of Oxford, said this month that the UK's gamble on solar geoengineering is like using aspirin for cancer. Calling the project barking mad, he went on, since 2021 commentary from ourselves, the situation has grown far worse with
800 million. 800 million. This started with 800 million. Guys, if you live in the UK, you know our life has been hard. Yeah. They started this in 2021. Yeah. Since 2021. What? They've called. There's no youth services. UK, that one day Olympics, yeah. All the Olympic stuff has been taken off. There's go to the 5 boroughs, yeah, where they've done the Olympic. It's hardly you see any sport activities going on that reminds you of the Olympic, yeah. Bear in mind, the area they come to before, because I happen to live in East London, yeah, which they come to here. The areas they come to before, the life was so low. They came and the prices went pew, the house prices went pew, because people thought we're gonna benefit from all these amenities after the Olympics. Guess what? None of them remains. The only thing everyone looking up to is the stadium, and they gave it to West Ham. So people didn't really benefit from it. So instead, don't let me talk about it. Let's talk about this.
tens of millions of dollars pouring into the scheme, mostly from private donors. Bill Gates was an early backer, and the tech and fintech industries have piled on since.
Bill Gates is an early backer. Bill Gates, I trust him to be one of them.
But we never imagined that the UK government itself would be leading the charge into what is almost universally recognised as the most dangerous and destabilising source of research. Field trials that risk developing dangerous technology and paving the way for deployment. Did you catch the name there? Bill Gates. I know many people watching this now will be rolling their eyes at the mention of the Microsoft billionaire once again, but it is an indisputable fact that Gates does have his hands in many controversial cookie jars. This was Tucker Carlson in the US some years ago, raising the alarm on America's own geoengineering madness.
And that's why Bill Gates is now backing something called sun-dimming technology that would reflect sunlight out of the Earth's atmosphere, causing global cooling.
Bill Gates is backing the first high-altitude experiment of one radical climate change solution, creating a massive chemical cloud that could cool the Earth. It's called solar geoengineering, and it's highly controversial. It would look something like this. Thousands of planes would fly very high and use nozzles to inject millions of tons of light-reflecting particles into the stratosphere. It would create a thin chemical cloud of those particles around the whole planet, blocking some sunlight from reaching the surface.
Wait. Around the whole planet. Who gave these people the authority to do that? You want to experiment like you did with COVID around the planet, but this time around you want to inject it up into the atmosphere around the planet. Oh, God. Why don't you just do over England alone? Or over America alone? Why does it have to be around the open? No, this is too much. This is too much for my ears, because, ladies and gentlemen, think about this very carefully. What's about to happen could be the hell of everything. I mean, we can't even breathe in peace. Oh, gosh.
We know about ARIA, the whack job public body that wants to block British sunshine. Well, Michael E. Mann, who's a Presidential Distinguished Professor at the University of Pennsylvania, wrote in The Guardian last month, ARIA, with an initial budget of £800 million, arose from the fevered dreams of Dominic Cummings at the height of the Boris Johnson crony capitalism years. After a rocky start for the office, Cummings' legacy lives on in the current Labour government, which seems to have lost track of what ARIA is doing. ARIA, a wannabe clone of the US Defence Advanced Projects Agency, works in darkness. It's not subject to freedom of information requests. It gives a pot of money to each of its directors to direct expenditure largely as they wish, with only minimal peer review. The director in charge of the solar geoengineering project is Mark Symes, an electrochemist with no background in climate science. Very good. Well, that fills you with confidence, doesn't it? And ARIA's thesis document online, which you can go and find yourself, is titled Exploring Options for Cooling the Earth. It's been described as chilling, reading, outlining how the project is going.
Exploring options for chilling the earth. Let's go deep into that. So, exploring options for cooling the earth. Why am I not typing right today? I'm just not in a good mood. Exploring options for cooling the earth area. It's crazy, man. This is ridiculous. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go through this together, guys. So area, exploring options for doing the earth. Let's go through this. So area, exploring options for calling the earth. It's a thesis that was written by Mike Symes, which is the program director. So who is Mike Symes? MADNEWS organization. Oh, Mark D sign. So it's you. So it's you. I do not want to be. I do not want to be. Save my choices. Why? Why Mark Symes? Why? Founding program directors. $400. What? Focuses on energy conversion, green fuels, is a founder of Climb. What is paying out? What is this? What gave you the right to want to experiment on every one of us? Innovative country for greenhouse gases at scale. What are you involved in? Building breakthroughs, greening production systems. So wait, Clyde. This makes sense now. So, oh, it makes sense. So, Mike, you own building breakthrough green hydrogen production systems. So what does these systems do? Yeah, what does these systems do? Element in achieving energy transition to zero carbon, splitting water hydrogen. So, Mark Symes, you have a company, yeah, that is looking to project, that is looking to benefit from this old green system. No wonder you put in these aerosols, Mike, because that's you. Mr. You're the owner of Clyde Hydrogen, whatever, yeah? And that's the technology. What else? Renewable energy. I'm telling you. So you already have a company, yeah, that specializes in this stuff. And what are you doing? Let's see the latest news you got. Today, you see what I'm saying? Class System is delighted to announce the business has assigned a memorandum of understanding. Oh my God. You see what I'm saying? It's money for you, Mr. Clyde. Oh my God. To demonstrate its groundbreaking decoupled electrolysis technology for the first time outside the laboratory. When we know that what they're trying to do over there is inject something into the sky, yeah, stratospheric aerosol injection or something like that. So, wow. Anyway, let's go on. This is interesting. We know where this is going.
All in on the supposed need for sunblocking field trials without making the case for what could happen if this was fully deployed all over the world. What would happen to crops, to farms, to rainfall and food supplies? What would happen if the technology got into the wrong hands? In America, British plans to block the sun have even caught the attention of Donald Trump's White House. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the US Secretary of Health and Human Services, tweeted just a few days ago, "We'll soon end this crime against humanity and our planet and bring justice to the plutocrats who are perpetuating this mass uncontrolled experiment." Meanwhile, the aforementioned Professor Mark Symes, who's leading the ARIA programme in the UK, said the looming threat of climate tipping points was a strong reason to research solar geoengineering.
You're lying because you have already created a company that is associated with greenhouse energy glasses. Exactly, glasses. It's not even gases, it's glasses, because that's what you're trying to pull up there. That's basically what's happening. That's the reason why you're conducting this experiment, so you can get money for your company, Mr. Symes, the owner of Clyde Energy. What's your company called? Clyde Hydrogen Energy. Please.
He added, "Having spoken to hundreds of researchers, we concluded that a critical missing part of our understanding was real-world physical data. These would show us whether any of these potential approaches would actually work and what their effects might be." But I'm sorry, I'm just going to say tonight outright, I just can't go along with that train of thought. This looks and sounds like a totally anti-human, anti-nature idea that would spark God knows what consequences for humans.
They're trying to wipe out black people, don't you get it?
The animal kingdom and indeed Mother Nature. And it should be consigned to the dustbin of history.
MADNEWS.
Paul Burgess, who joins me live down the line. Paul, good evening. Thank you for your company. What's your thoughts on what I just said there, and indeed the wider project of solar geoengineering?
Right. Well, what you just said there in summary, I totally agree with the ethnic aspect and so on. But just looking at the science, I'd like to make 3 points. Number one, it's not needed. We're not suffering from excess heat waves. For example, in 2011, we had a heat wave that was just drowned out today as regards heat. It began in early July. This is over 100 years ago. It didn't let up until mid-September. And even in September, it was 33 degrees and it was 36 degrees in July, August.
33 degrees to 36 degrees, and you want
massive, and that was over over a large part of the world. America, in Paris, they lost 40,000 people in that heat wave. So if you look back historically, the heat waves are far worse. So this is all imagination to begin with, right? And the next thing is, I did some scoping today on it, and I actually started to do some simple calcs on it. Now, what's scoping? It's looking at how reasonable the project is. Yes. So I asked for the area around the UK. I worked out for the area around the UK, and you couldn't cool by more than half a degree, by the way. There's no limit to, there's no way we can do more than half a degree. What would that require? Well, if we modified 6,120 jumbo jets, yes?
Yeah.
And we had flying at 20, 30,000 feet in the cirrus, yes? Then that would, each one would use 50 tons of fuel each day, right? That is a third of 1,000,000 tons of fuel each day into the air, which, by the way, would have a more negative effect on the alarmist CO2.
There you go.
To begin with, so you're worse off to begin with, right? But then that would cost between 3 to 5 trillion pounds a year to operate, and that doesn't count having to cover the whole of the UK and airports to do it. Now, the big problem there is you're injecting it high into the atmosphere, into the jet stream. The jet stream, typical speed, 150 miles an hour. So what you do to cool the UK is going to end up in Western Russia. And they won't be too happy about you cooling it by half a degree, right? So it's ludicrous. On any proper scientist, any proper technologist would know this is ludicrous.
So, Paul, why are we doing it? Why are we spending £50 million of taxpayer money doing this when not all, but lots of leading scientists say it's absolute nonsense?
Well, we're doing it because we have a government just completely besotted into a cult called net zero.
It's a lie. You're doing it because there's a global shit in the world. There's the vibration of the world is increasing. The energy which the sun is beaming into the world, the evil people are scared. They are scared. They're building bunkers. and they want to dim the sun. That's why.
And we have to stop net zero. I wear a badge here, you know, I love CO2, I want to see more of it. And so why? Well, why has the world gone mad? We've had lots of mad things before. You know, we've had really stupid things in the past, which we know now are stupid. But there's no, I mean, I know a number of scientists. No one thinks this is sensible. No one. But to waste £50 million with a university professor who hasn't a clue what he's doing is absurd. And it is dangerous, by the way. It is dangerous because we don't understand the jet stream. We do not understand clouds even. We haven't got the science behind clouds yet, right yet. And so to do it is ridiculous.
Okay.
And all you're going to hear against this, what I've said, is appeals to authority where people say they know better because they know more. That gets you nowhere in science. Or consensus. Consensus is a political thing, not a scientific thing.
All right, Paul. Paul, thank you very much for your expertise and your company. Really appreciate it. Climate researcher Paul Burgess. Yeah, it just seems to me like people just want to play God. We want to literally modify the weather in the name of net zero. Well, let's get the thoughts of my panel now. Businessman and activist.
They're trying to net zero. They're trying to net zero or four. They're trying to net. People needs to wake up. People needs to wake up. These people trying to kill us all. They're trying to kill all plants and animals and humans.
Adam Brooks.
Leave just AI and robots to take
Political
over.
commentator Chloe Dobbs and the former Labour Minister Bill Rammell. Good evening to you all.
This is
Welcome
ridiculous.
along. Hope you enjoyed the sun today. Make the most of it because it's being blocked out apparently. Bill, what do you make of this? Had you heard of this project before? Labour have been accused of kind of leaving ARIA, this government public body, to their own devices with 50 million quid's worth of money. What's your thoughts on it all?
Well, as you know, I've just spent 3 hours in a car trying to get to the studio, so I'm not thinking desperately straight. I've not heard of it, but I do know this. Scientific progress would never have been made if at every juncture there was an outcry and it was opposed. My understanding of this is it's small-scale trials to test the efficacy of the science to see whether what is called geoengineering can make a contribution scientifically to tackling climate change.
Why are you lying?
There are no toxic substances involved.
What?
There'll be environmental impact assessments, and people in localities where it takes place will be consulted. If, and it's a big if, it then proves its efficacy, there would then have to be further major large-scale consultation, evaluation, rigorous scrutiny. So we're way away from some of the doomsday scenario that was being projected there.
Okay, Chloe, any thoughts?
Why?
I'm up for experimenting with things, but it sounds like this ARIA company is not really to be trusted.
No, they're not even a company, sorry, just to correct you, they're a public body funded by you and me and people at home.
So this public body, I mean, Bill, you've said there needs to be huge scrutiny, but according to, I mean, this was in The Guardian that there's huge outcry about this, and I think that's quite telling that a paper like The Guardian is massively against it.
These people are trying to change a lot of things. Like, for example, the so-called rainbow flag was an imitation of the rainbow, original rainbow. Now, who gives them the authority, England. So you don't want to colonize people. No, you're no longer a colonizer anymore. You're just colonizing atoms. You're decolonizing atoms now. You're not colonizing anymore. What you're doing now is decolonizing atoms.
They are saying that this is a body that is not subject to freedom of information requests, that there's not really much peer reviewing with what they do. So I think it's quite concerning. Another thing I'd say is I do think that messing with nature needs to be done very, very, very carefully. I mean, for example, it takes nature a long time to adapt to changes in temperature. So if you release these particles in the air to block the sun and then decide it's not safe, we're going to stop it, and then suddenly there's a big drop in temperature, that could also cause a lot of problems.
So basically, now that they're trying to do this, then what happens? We black people that we're already deficient in vitamin D, that I think my doctor even told me that the last tablet I bought in a chemist, because I asked to be that if I could get it prescribed, they said no. It's like 20,000 UL or something like that. So what are you going to give us now? Daytime tablets? Daytime vitamin D? Or This is ridiculous, man.
In nature, biodiversity, etc. There's so many things that could go wrong with this. I think we need to be very careful.
And also, it makes me laugh that Ed Miliband is running around getting solar panels everywhere and destroying the countryside, and yet at the same time we're funding projects to block the sun. So make your mind up.
Anything with Bill Gates, even connected to it, I do not trust. Even his wife didn't trust him in the end.
Ooh, that's a cheap shot.
Who voted for this? What mandate have they got to start messing about with our climate and our weather?
There you go.
As Bill said, there could be a small trial, but that could spiral and have consequences far beyond our understanding. We see during COVID that scientists could get things completely wrong. The COVID modelers messed up so badly. What's to say that these people aren't going to mess up as well? In the United Arab Emirates, they cloud seed, and it's public knowledge that they do that. In the last few years, we've seen some of the worst flooding in Dubai, and of course they're going to deny, it's not what we're doing to the clouds, but it's a bit coincidental.
But they didn't deny cloud seeding. They just said the two weren't linked. They were cloud seeding one week quite heavily, and then the next week they had a record floods. I mean, they denied that, but they don't deny they actually do cloud seed. It's interesting, Chloe, you said messing with nature, but we saw during COVID, Bill, that we do mess with nature. Anthony Fauci, gain of function research at the Wuhan lab, arguably the White House now says that's what caused the COVID pandemic, gain of function research, which is highly dangerous. So that we are already messing with nature, it seems.
There you go. I can't believe a word that comes out of the Trump White House. I mean, distorts things every day of the week. But look,
it's not just the US. Many intelligence agencies now.
Look, you never make progress unless you experiment. We wouldn't have got to this stage of human development without science and without experimentation. You need to do it prudently and cautiously. And I've not seen anything here that suggests this is careering away and he's taking.
We'll give these people the right, the audacity, the authority for them to think that they can experiment on us. We're not dogs. We're not rabbits. We're not rats. What do you mean experimenting? So you're admitting the whole COVID session was an experiment. People's businesses went down. My businesses went down. A lot of people's businesses went down. A lot of people can't even get back up. People lose families. People can't see each other. A lot of family broke down because of your whole human experiment. We'll give you guys the right. Now they're admitting that COVID was an experiment.
Risks. And you talk about the two scientists who've opposed
it's ridiculous.
It. Those two scientists want to go much further and faster on the traditional methods of net zero, which is constantly being decried in this studio.
This isn't an argument about net zero, I mean, as I said, these two scientists I quoted, they are all for net zero. They don't contest climate change. They're just saying blocking the sun, which I think is just absolute insanity.
It's insane.
It's godlike behaviour from a bunch of weirdos, if you ask me.
And in this country, we desperately need more sunshine. I mean, we really struggle in the winter. I had to suspend from uni from vitamin D deficiency.
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. If, and it is a big if this was successful...
Wait, let me hear it again.
Sunshine, I mean, we really struggle in the winter. I had to suspend from uni from vitamin D deficiency.
You have vitamin C... MADNEWS. What happened?
To suspend from uni from vitamin D deficiency.
She has to suspend from university from vitamin D deficiency. Okay. What percentage of white people in the UK is vitamin D? White people in the UK. Excuse me, are you having a laugh, mate? 12% of white people take time off uni because she's vitamin D deficient. Let that make sense. Let me play that again.
Struggle in the winter. I had to suspend from uni from vitamin D deficiency.
I know. But I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. If, and it is a big if this was successful, you'd still get a lot of sun come into the country.
All right, viewers, let us know what you think. gbnews.com/your site. Should we block out the sun? Good idea? I don't know.
Guys, I have a headache just talking about it. Let's look at the comment for a little bit. They have no right to do this. Sun belongs to all humanity, correct? I'm old enough to remember whether they said the resource spirits were destroying the ozone. Yep. Please everyone stop saying incompetent. There's nothing incompetent It's what I can only trust even when I'm very competent. I do not consent. I wouldn't trust Bill Gates with anything. We need to be careful here, folks. This must be stopped at our cause. But it's not government funded, it's taxpayers funded again, and that waste of public money. Imagine removing people. Personally, I'm sick of spraying with poison every day. Insanity. I'm not a Greek, but this is outrageous. I do not consent to this. We should have a referendum. The politicians who approve this should have their finances audited. Our government is dangerous. See, everyone is against this. Every single person is against it. So, guys, this is my first daily Mad News. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News. Mad News. Daily Mad News.